Hello and welcome back. We're already into Champion Select. Royal Youth decided red side. Clutch Gaming once again going to ban out the Lee Sin Pantheon, removed by Royal Youth.
Yeah, selecting the red side is a curious choice. Not wanting to open up a couple of their bans. This is going to mimic exactly what they did in game number 1 with the Pantheon, the Syndra. Do they round it out with a cheeky Rakan? Or do they take Elise off the table?
It could be a not cheeky Rakan. Could just be a bashful Rakan.
Is that the opposite of cheeky?
I don't
Bashful?
know. Olaf has been banned, so Clutch have switched things up just a tad. Gonna get away from that topic of conversation. Irelia is now open because of that. We'll see what Royal Youth decide to ban for their final pick, whether it is that Rakan that we have discussed at the end.
This is such a whack start to the Champs League. Just went right in, and then you just went off a cliff.
It's the cheeky Rakan.
There it is. God, we hate bashful Rakans up in here.
What are we going to look for first pick? Irelia has now been left open.
Yes. One of Huni's most played champions. Do they lock that one in? They could just run it back with the Elise Lyra. And an amicable performance on that pick in game number 1. But okay, there it is. It was last picked. This time it's first picked.
Grab it for Huni. He's played it 11 times. Has won a bunch of those. I think it's 8 out of 11. I can't do the maths. I've got a percentage in front of me. So I think it's 8 out of 11 across the course of the split. And now Royal Youth have to decide, how do you answer that? Do you take away the Elise? Do you pick your top laner now and try and go for something aggressive? Apparently, the Renekton is the pick alongside the Elise.
Yes, and that was going to be my question. Is this Rumble actually a flex pick that we just haven't seen Demonte play on the competitive stage? Because then it's like, okay, we're happy to blind pick it. If it does get Elise Renekton, then we have options. We can throw it into the mid lane. You could, I don't know, Cody-san, throw it into the bottom lane if you really wanted to. But yeah, it is going to be the option. Very aggressive start to this one, and I like what Royal Youth have done. You need to attack Huni if you do want to attack Clutch, and this is exactly where you want to start.
I think the risk is, no matter where the Rumble goes, the Renekton and the Elise can follow.
Truth.
They can chase them down. Kai'Sa once again picked up for Cody-san. Lyra gets his second most played champion in the Jarvan. Still not going for that. Skarner has put that by the wayside for the play-ins, it seems.
Definitely in a matchup like this, needs some ability to do things in the early game. Skarner wants to hit that level 6 mark, and Thresh going to be the run back here for Tolerant. Has had some good performances so far in the group stage. I also like Thresh in terms of when you pair him with like a Lucian, you're like, yeah, like we can go early, but when you pair it with something like the Jinx, honestly, like Lantern, cannot be understated as like a late game team fight tool. Jinx incredibly immobile. We didn't see team fights actually erupt in game number 1, but if Pilot gets caught out and you can reposition him if the synergy is there, Pilot has been a big player for them so far as we head on into the ban phase.
Oh, that's the Nautilus band. Ashe gets removed as well by Clutch. Looking at Vulcan's champion pool, you're now going down to things like Tahm Kench, maybe the Lux, maybe the Leona, with the Nautilus and Rakan taken away. And we'll see with now Alistar, that's a lot of aggression removed from the Clutch Gaming bottom lane, a lot of disengage taken away from them as well. I think Royal Youth will want to be aggressive down bot.
Yeah, the big question is, are they willing to go ranged matchups? Like, there is still, yes, the Tahm, the Braum, if you want to go like that, but Morgana is an option, long-time counterpick to something like the Thresh, and for a team composition like Renekton, Elise, Thresh, and whatever AD carry you lock in, that's a bunch of single target damage that a singular Black Shield could come up as a huge prize here, so it will be kind of interesting to see where Clutch want to round this comp out. Oh. He's hovered it too many times. Just lock it in.
I think it's Ezreal. I don't think he's going to pick the Draven.
I don't think you pick Renekton, Elise, and then round out your composition with a, we have to fight bottom side.
I mean, I think you could if you really wanted to.
You could.
Doesn't usually work out for them. The Ezreal is the lock here for Pilot. 5th time he's played this split. And Clutch now have to look towards probably mid and their support. Now, Poppy is a support that's been on the edge of interest, and I'm going to stop talking about hovers because they're doing too many of them. But Pyke will be the lock here, and the Nico both locked in straight away, so still don't know where that Rumble is going.
Yes.
Nico could be top, could be mid.
A couple of things. Now, the solo laners can be flexible, so until Royal Youth select their lanes and Clutch decide where to throw who, everything will be up in the air. But Pyke also, very aggressive counter pick into the Thresh. The hook animation can be super useful. Thresh is very easy to pick on, right? Lantern saves your ally, especially something like the Ezreal, but Pyke can make things happen, and okay, Irelia gets all the way through.
Yeah, that's a lot of physical damage on the side of Royal Youth. Having the Elise and the Ezreal there to balance it out does help. A lot of magic damage on the side of Clutch.
And it's kind of the weird thing going into League of Legends in 2019 where tanks are just kind of dead. Yes, we've seen some Ornn, we've seen like the remnants of maybe a Scion, but in terms of indexing super heavily into like one damage type, in 2019 you don't get punished that much, right?
Yeah.
Like if tank stats aren't on the other side, you don't have a lot of HP bars to go through, so it's not the worst thing in the world, but we do get ourselves locked in lane matchups.
Yeah, it's going to be Rumble in the top lane into Armut Renekton. Aurelia will go mid against Demonte on the Nico. Demonte has played that twice this split, I believe. Actually matching Huni in games played on the Nico. It's the first time we've seen Vulcan on Pyke, though. Usually a little bit more safe in that bottom lane. Things like the Rakan, Norseless, Tarm Kench, the aggressive bot laners support's not really his cup of tea.
Pyke's also just a baller champion.
Yeah.
He's sick.
He is sick.
For lack of a better, he's actually just sick.
So, the problem with me, with Pyke, is that I used to think I was really good on him, and then I started playing him more.
Nobody that says they're a good Pyke is a good Pyke.
So I was quite good, and then other people started playing him a lot, and they got really good on him, and so now I'm just average.
Yeah,
I get flamed a lot. But I'm sure Vulcan has practiced a lot more than I have, and is a lot better at Pyke than I am. Game 2 of the best of 5 is on its way. Clutch, 1-0 up on their way to groups, perhaps Royal Youth trying to stand in their way. The Turkish representatives need to fight back if they are going to stand a chance in this series.
And you have to respect it. The run back, Elise, Renekton, Aurelia. TCL representatives just going hard on the top side of the map. Ezreal locked in for Pilot, long-time Ezreal player from all the way in the LCK. Won't be getting a lot of attention in the early game, and it didn't work out in game number 1, but they're willing to just try again.
Well, you can just go up towards the top.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yep, that's where everyone's going to be looking early on in this game. We'll see how Vulcan and Cody Sun can do. They tend to be pretty good without any jungle pressure. Demonte the same. Huni really the key focus for Clutch in most of their victories.
Yeah.
Armut the same for Royal.
And let's speak about Nico for a little bit, because she came out, super wild champion all over the place now, has kind of cemented herself into this glacial augment, into like the spooky ghost, the active items, and you get
Super Soaker spooky ghost.
Yes, you get to actually use your rune choice there, but has emerged as like a very useful disengage option. Because when you think about those champions, like they don't have strong lanes, but Nico, especially in something like this range versus melee matchup, Demonte super early without jungle attention will be able to have access to some super useful early game tools, and then once you hit that level 6 mark, you're very hard to dive in terms of look what Royal Youth are looking at, like an Elise, Renekton, Aurelia diving into the backline of a team fight. You have the Cataclysm, the Equalizer, Nico ult, everything you have to deal with can be super troublesome. See how that one tracks out for the rest of this game.
Early on, Lyra's going perhaps for a level 2 gank. He's cleared away his own red. It's going to get spotted on a ward as he put parts in towards Royal's red buff. And this could be a little bit dangerous him now. Huni is pushed up.
Does Closer go for the complete wraparound? No, he's going to walk straight forwards. Blue buff versus the red buff of Lyra.
No smite on Closer. Lyra has smite. Huni's already level 2, has got armor to push up in that top lane. Should be pretty easy for Lyra to secure this.
And it's just happened again. Both solo lanes pushing into his direction. Demonte walks over. Gets a ward down, and Huni doing exactly the same thing. So Lyra has brought all his friends closer, just alone in the jungle, almost going to get forced off his golems. They reset. Oh.
That's so tough for Closer. This
That
ward
sucks.
here, spotting him out as well as he comes back round towards it. Armut not really healthy enough to help out. And something has to change for Royal early on, because at the moment the top side of the map is not in their control at all.
And it's not even with Lyra around. Stole the red buff, went back towards his blue, clearing his own jungle as that one resets off the back end of Huni alone. So 1 versus 2 pressure on the top side buys Lyra an extra little bit of time in the early game. Huni just punishing up here.
Yeah, very difficult for Armut to do anything in the lane. Has the door and shield, will try and sustain himself back up, but you need to be close to the minions if you're going to get that Cold and Meek healing off, and Rumble, of course, can just pop the Flame Spitter whenever you are nearby. Topside clear for Closer, mostly done, as he has finished up his Krugs, but Lyra now with control of this topside Scuttle Crab can just go straight down towards bot as well and look to take them both off the map.
And that's the big problem. You see Cody Sun and Vulcan walking up the river. Do they want to spend enough time to like use Pyke Q on the crab, take that one down themselves? No, just going to be a ward dropped and a blasting or a scrying plant rather, whacked into the enemy jungle. They're looking for the Elise. They don't spot him on either side of the map.
The question is for Closer whether he goes and tries to fight this. Lyra still very dominant. In fact, Closer's just going to go down towards bot. Knows that Scuttle Crab is likely still up, but Demonte on his way across will try and keep Closer from getting near enough to the Scuttle Crab. Should be an okay secure for the Elise, and RYL are able to find something out of this early jungle pathing. They have been set back. There's a CS lead in the bottom lane as well as Armut goes low in the top. It's about 6 to 7 farm ahead for Cody Sun down there in that pure 2v2 matchup.
Yeah, so the problem right now for Armut on the top side is the Closer stepping on vision. He knows exactly where the Elise is, almost double CS now, is exactly double CS up there. Continuing to punish the Renekton as Closer looking towards the bottom side, so won't be in a position to help. And now with that Prio, he's going to walk into the enemy jungle. Just going to be a reset. Does have a trinket available, but not opting to use it. Oh, okay. Just efficiency. Places it over the wall as the recall comes through.
Yep. Got to get it in. And I do want to come back to this discussion about early game leads and which top laner can get ahead and which jungler can get ahead, because both these teams are actually very similar in their playstyle. They like to get first blood, they like to get the Herald, and then they like to try and get ahead through that. Now, RYL's goal difference in planes, of course, has been affected by the fact they played Damwon Gaming twice and got forced quite far behind. But both of these teams are very similar, and I think that's why we saw in Game 1, Clutch, after they got the early lead, after they got that advantage, RYL really didn't have a way to get back into the match.
Yeah, because they traded objectives fine, they got themselves double Infernal Dragon, but in terms of being able to find opportunities back in, team fights just straight up did not happen. Does Demonte get baited in here? No mana! Ooh.
Good flash. Good flash from Demonte to get away from that cocoon. Lyra is around as well. Vulcan has made his level 4 way mid, something we see a lot in the LEC. The support roaming mid to try and catch someone out around that level 4 mark. Wave is pushing up in the bot lane, so it's not too dangerous for Cody Sun as he can just crash that one into Pilot. Now Lyra on his way top. Armut has been struggling in this lane, has finally made his way back, even in terms of CS, but now just hitting level 6. I don't think Lyra will want to go for the fight. He's still only level 4 on this Jarvan, as is Closer on the Elise.
But even in these sort of situations where nothing eventuates, Clutch have done such a good job of tracking the Elise in this early game, knowing exactly where Closer is and kind of dictating where he can actually go. He hasn't had a lot of options there, so Wave pushing in as Huni dings that level 6 mark. It's just incredibly happy to sit here, chilling on the top side of the map as Lyra is kind of shepherding for a counter gank, I believe. They know Elise is up there. You just saw a missing ping up on the top side of the map over in this bush. Are they thinking that Closer may be looking for it?
You can use the question mark pings. We have them. Look at that.
Oh, true.
Yeah, see, missing thing.
There was lots of them.
I'm glad you could truly portray the missing things that we saw on the minimap. Lyra here going to come in and help push its wave in towards Armut. And that's about a 15 to 20 CS lead for Huni in most regards. And I want to just talk a little bit about how compositions are expected to work as this game goes on. When I look at Clutch, I see a lot of AoE in team fights, the Equalizer, the Hot Blossom coming out as well, the Cataclysm there. Feels very much a comp designed to play around objectives and force the enemy team into fights.
Yes.
RYL, on the other hand, have a bit more skirmish potential, a bit more back and forth in these fights.
That is certainly true, and given what's happening so far, it looks pretty difficult for RYL Youth to play this out. Super dive-heavy composition with melee laners like the Aurelia and Renekton into everything I was talking about earlier. Yeah. Jarvan, Nico, Rumble, Ulti are difficult tools to have to play around, and because Clutch already have a stranglehold on this top side of the map, Closer is still like fishing for a red buff. He hasn't had one this game, but 3 versus 3 could be happening as the flank's on.
Demonte dodged out with the flawless duet. Okay. Vanguard's Edge coming in. They're going to go all in for the Nico. Stun locked up. Pop Blossom comes down with first blood already to RYL. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, the fight continues. Ignite going down. Cody's flashes forward. Huni gets closer up towards the top side of Steel. Is going to get chased out here by Lyra. Armut flashed away. Huni flashing forward. Armut looking to get that final auto win, but Huni keeps him at arm's length, keeps him at bay, and Huni runs away. The knockup comes in from Lyra, and it's a double for Clutch. 4 kills to 1.
And on both sides of the map, they win the top skirmish. They win the 2 versus 2 in the bottom lane. A miracle Ezreal ulti will find nothing. And just as I say, it's going to be a difficult game for RYL to play out. It just gets that little bit worse.
So hard for them now. 1,600 gold behind. Huni escaping just by a hair in that top fight. And now you've got 2 kills on your Jarvan who can just get up towards tankier stats. You've got a kill and 2 assists on Huni. His Equalizer already halfway off its cooldown. And it's only a Cloud Drake to fight off around the bottom side. Now, 8.5 minutes in the game. Cody, Sun, and Vulcan have just reset, but they're going down towards the bottom lane here. Deciding not yet to go up towards where the Rift Herald will be spawning.
9-minute flip? Doable?
Yeah.
8-minute flip? Nah, that's too early.
8.5 minute flip.
Yeah, we're not about that life over here.
You're not an 8-minute flipper?
9 minutes only.
It sounds like we're talking about how to cook burgers properly.
8 minutes sounds like a very burnt burger.
It does, but you Australians do things in...
Is that how they do it in England? They just burn them.
English food is not something to be proud of, let's be honest.
Sure.
You're a 9-minute flipper, though, so you're even later than I am.
Yeah. We didn't talk about that, that's fine.
Okay. Let's talk about how Clutch is setting up around this Cloud Dragon then, because they are getting some vision control. 3 control wards in the triangle there you can see. And RYL actually anticipating a top side of the map play are going up to see if they can catch out Huni. No flash on him. There's the Equalizer to clear out the way, but closer on his way. Doesn't have the flash. Caught out by the minion wave. Smite comes down. Cocoon doesn't land. Huni's just going to be able to get away for the moment, but the Ruthless Predator comes in, and there's the Cocoon. Wasn't used earlier on. Huni trying to get away with the Scrap Shield, but the chase is on, and closer will sink in the Fangs.
Smart decision. Very well executed from RYL side. Does look pretty easy. Huni flashless underneath his turret, but they wait for the Renekton W to hit confirm the Cocoon, but on the other side of the map, here comes the dive. Cody Sun just left to free hit this turret. Very respectful from Pilot and Tolerant as they just trying to eat the wave with their ulti.
Teleport used mid here by Huni. Gonna keep Seal from pushing in that wave too far. Demonte's here to join his team. Rift Herald has been started by RYL.
Yeah.
Towards the top side of this, and Clutch are like, oh wait, excuse me, it's 10 minutes.
Okay.
We have the Rift Herald. Seal stunned up, great flawless duet, but here comes the Pop Blossom, and Seal's unable to dodge away from it. 10 minutes in, Clutch secure a kill in the mid lane, and RYL gonna have to run for the hills. Can't quite get the eye, could have looked to secure it. The rest of RYL are on their way up, but this is just going to reset for Clutch, and they are very happy to secure this.
That's
in goes Armor, the eye is open, but the Cataclysm comes down. Closer has to jump away, repel out, Demonte gets the kill still. Armor now in the back of the pit, trying to get to the lantern in time, will just about survive, but the Rift Herald goes across towards Clutch.
And I think for the first time in the tournament, Clutch aren't the team just started up, but boy, do they just walk away with the buff. Maybe they just dropped that immediately in a lane. It was picked up by Demonte, so... As a lot of use cases, TP will shepherd down towards the bottom side of the map for Armor to try and hold on to this turret. But that was just a disaster for RYL Youth. Multiple skirmishes back-to-back. They lose mid and lose the Rift Herald.
It's so good for Clutch, though. They're now 3,000 gold ahead. They have a Rift Herald. They got the Cloud Drake that they thought they were trading for the Rift Herald.
Yeah.
They're in such a strong spot, and this Clutch early pressure into a mid-game spike is showing up once again.
And it's an ambitious call to fight this one. Pilot and Tolerant are just in nowhere. Over the wall, Lantern is kind of the play here from closer, but Demonte cleans it up off the back end. Renekton eventually finds his way to it, but that was a dragon into walking mid, a mid-kill, into walking to Rift Herald. The enemy team leashed it to 2,000 HP. That was a goodie bag. They just went to an 8-year-old's birthday party and just walked away with everything.
It's like a connect the dots game. It's like, oh, we have a dot at the dragon, and there's a dot in the mid lane, and a dot towards the Rift Herald. Clutch doing exactly what they need to, exactly what we've come to expect from them with this 10-minute Rift Herald play. And now they can just look to see where they want to use it. It's currently sitting on Demonte, which probably isn't the target you really want it on, but you still take that. You've taken 4 plates in the bottom lane. You've yet to break through those mid lane plates. Top lane, you can't quite see. We'll wait as the map goes.
I think he's on
up
5.
towards it. You think it's on 5?
Yeah, I think he's on 5.
Well, we don't get to see. It is on 5. There we are. But they do have the Rift Herald now.
Ambitious TP here from Pilot. Has friends coming, but Clutch early once again.
Rift Herald used. Only a couple of minions there left for it, but the Herald will charge in, and that's going to be at least 4 plates taken from this top lane tower, you have to think. Pilot takes a little bit of splash damage. And Clutch just wait for the next wave to push in. Huni is in the mid lane against Armored, but it's going to be very difficult for the Renekton to deal now with that Rumble.
Okay, now the real question is, does Closer get a red buff this game? This is going to be the 3rd one taken away in a row.
You've got to take the wins where you can.
A collective effort from everyone on Clutch is going to steal away this one as he just recalls on the top side. Hook. Predicted, but not going to be the play. And now Clutch also, they push top, bash Rift Herald, find early access to mid lane. They're just running them all over the map.
Yeah, just pulling RYL all the way around Summoner's Rift. And for the moment, RYL really just have to wait. You have to scale. You've yet to get a single completed item on your mid laner or your top laner. It's gone for the Spectre's Cowl this game to try and have that little bit of magic resist. But you look across the other side, Cody Sun's already got a Manamune stacking up. You've got 2-1-2 on your Nico. Demonte in the mid lane sitting on a bunch of gold. Actually, almost got 1,000 in the bank, is 1,000 ahead of his lane opponent. And across the board, it's just leads all over the map for Clutch.
Yeah, it looks to be just a similar performance of game number 1. The same strategy we've seen Closer pop off in the group stage, but as soon as it came to the best of 5, preparation coming in through here from the NA representative and just attacking the jungle. 30 CS discrepancy, 0 red buff. 0 hopes this game.
I mean, if Clutch play it like game 1, this game's all but done. Like, Clutch should just close this one out, assuming they are patient and methodical like they were in the first game of the series. And if you're RYL, you're wondering, you know, what do we change? How do we switch things up? Because this current strategy is not working for them at all.
And that's the thing with the run back.
Yeah.
First game, you employ that strategy. It's like, oh, okay, that didn't work. But you're confident in it. It's your preparation. It's what you've been practicing, scrimming behind the scenes. And then you do it game number 2, and you're getting smacked. And it's like, oh God, okay. Well,
this is the thing that usually works, bro.
Yeah. And unfortunately, of course, game is not over, but situation is absolutely dire here.
A 5,000 gold lead for Clutch at the 15-minute mark. A second dragon for them as well if they want it. They've yet to take all of the outer towers, but they are on their way to doing it. That bottom tower, only a 5th of its HP remains. And second cloud, not the most impactful, but still a bonus to have, especially when you get towards team fights.
That's the thing with NA players. Bad Dragon RNG. Turkish players, super good.
Yeah, really.
Double Infernal.
Double Infernal last time.
The double air. That's a bad time.
But Clutch are now super speedy as well.
Okay. 2v2.
Yeah, going to fight in the bottom lane. Teleport coming out. The Dominus already popped here by Armut. Lyra's going to get the knock up, and really no more chase coming out from RYL. Cody's Sun's on his way down. If Clutch want to turn this one around, the Equalizer is available for Huni, but they realize that RYL are too close to their tower and don't fight any further.
That's just the Skadad.
The Skadad.
The Skadad. Flash away from Huni. Skedaddles up the river. No need to commit to this one, but the flash, okay.
Flash in, the Cocoon's going to chase Huni down, and Huni will fall. Second time of the game. He gets the Equalizer down in time to clear the wave. Never give up on farming, folks. Always important.
That was not the Skadad.
That was the Skadad.
That was the Skadad. Yeah, I like that. I like that. At least Spider's going to mean that they can actually stick around on this turret if they want to, but RYL Youth getting collapsed on by the bottom lane of Clutch, and Lyra just running it up the lane here means that they get a kill, but not much left off the back end.
A few picks like that will give RYL hope, though.
Yes.
Because we have seen Huni does overextend. He has a propensity for being too far forward in the lane. Lyra has had a few bad games this tournament, especially when he hasn't been on the Elise. So if you can find a couple of catches like that, even if you're falling just that little bit further behind in gold globally, getting some gold on your key carries could help you turn this game around.
Yeah, that's the hope. Pilot on the RYL. Pilot and Seal for this roster, once they get to late game team fights, are kind of the 1-2 punch that they need. Synergized double imports for this team and do work very well together. This was just some very nice preparation. Think about the fact that Elise was sitting on this pink ward before. Huni kind of gets baited into that one, wants to take it down, and it's just CC all over the place. How he found the time to drop his R, I have no idea, but the man, the myth, the Huni does it.
No tenacity on him either, so
just sneaks it through.
Armut is in a bush here in the top lane. Vulcan on his way. Ward comes down. Armut gonna get stunned up here as he tries to slice and dice away. Closer's on his way in. Has the flash. Could go for Huni here. Flash Cocoon, but the TP comes in straight away. Closer looking for the kill. Won't quite get it through the Scap shield. Closer eventually takes him down, and now the fight continues. Pop Blossom, pop by Demonte, and pop goes the Spider. Squashed under Demonte's feet, and now Armut is short to follow, but Vulcan getting chased down.
Dead.
Predator is enough, and the turn has come. RYL finding the picks in the top lane as Cody Sun isn't here yet. Demonte goes golden to the second. Lyra stunned up. The hook's gonna land. Cody Sun jumps in. Killer instinct from the AD carry. Cody Sun finds his mark and finds the kill.
And it ends up being the 4 versus 5. You can see in the picture on your bottom left screen, Seal just whacking a turret down. Their numbers do not favor RYL Youth in this instance. And yes, they get Huni. Yes, they get Vulcan, but get wiped off the back end of the Rift.
Cody Sun just there in time, because at the start it looked in favor of Clutch and RYL turned it around. But as you say, the man advantage definitely coming in big there for Clutch. I was going to say Clutch. It's so hard to avoid that. So hard. Cody Sun's actually had a really good play in so far, in my opinion, as well. Especially when you look at the last time he played at Worlds was with Immortals against Fnatic, and he made a play that he's named after him, but it was one of the worst plays I've ever seen in my life. Just started to jump forward.
He's winning the game.
But I'm praising him now.
Yeah,
The last time he played at Worlds, he really struggled. But now you see the development, you see the growth in this guy, you see why he is one of the consistent performers for this team.
And I think the big thing is that he's actually exactly what this team needs. The bottom lane doesn't have to be flashy. Oh, no. You don't like that at all.
I got before 20 minutes, so...
Yeah, okay. That's a...
that.
Is that a prize?
We take those.
That's a bad prize. But I was saying, right, like the bottom lane doesn't have to be flashy for clutch. Top side of the map is where they get most of their action. Lyra likes to play around Huni. Demonte is super creative mid laner on his champions, right? Known for the Kiana, the Renekton's, and the like. Of course, is on Nico this time, but teamfight monsters are Vulcan and Cody Sun when they can get to it, and hasn't been allowed to shine in this series, right? It hasn't come to teamfight phase. This is another game with about a 4-5-ish K gold lead, and Clutch approaching that 20-minute mark, just sitting pretty.
It definitely gives you that late game insurance that we've been talking about just a couple of times. Now, Demonte is up here, closer. We'll spot him out. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Closer may just kill him. Pop Blossom coming out, but the shield isn't there in time. Closer shuts down Demonte in the side lane, and RYL are starting to find some of these picks. Now, Teleport used in the mid lane by Pilot to try and keep this tower alive. Armored on his way across. Huni's down towards the bottom side of this with the True Shot Barrage. Chunks out Vulcan. He has to go away. Here comes Armored from the bottom side. They're not going to be able to find the connection, but RYL are still fighting back here. They've closed that gold gap. Only 4,000 now between these two teams.
Yeah, unfortunately, RYL Tolerant hit us with a yellow star there. Flash Flay into hook goes nowhere. They were looking for the fight. They had all of the members rotating over, but Clutch find their way out of that one.
Look at that difference between the AD carry.
That's a biggie.
That's 2,000.
That's a biggie.
2,400 gold, I think it was, between the two of them. That's incredible. You look at it, that's only an extra...
That's a Muramana.
That's a few plates, but as you say, it's an entire Muramana. And that means that Ginsu's is finished. Very expensive item. Muramana all stacked up now for Cody Sun. Only the Iceborne and the Anamune stacking up for Pilot. So in terms of pure gold value, Cody Sun much more precious to his team. Third Cloud Drake picked up for Clutch as well. They are incredibly fast now when they want to be.
Yeah, also think about what happened last game. As soon as they hit their item spikes, Clutch just coming online. They get themselves the Baron. Of course, it is 20 minutes on the clock. You see the transform. Hooni's got his one item. You see the gargoyle there that I absolutely whiffed on the circle.
I like the way that you've almost made a Venn diagram of Liandry's and Gargoyle, Seeker's Arm Guard.
Yeah, that's
that
a little bit of amp tome over here.
Tiny bit.
Yeah, but they're getting to their item spikes and approaching that 20-minute mark. Baron has spawned. Triple Air Drake kind of sucks in this situation, but if you're going to have one, you might as well have three. And this is looking like a fairly similar trajectory as we did see in that last game.
We did. I think RYL have had a few more opportunities, a few more moments of fighting back in this game where they found those picks, but what you would like to see Clutch do is control that vision a bit more, because every time they've been caught out, it's been because Closer's found his way around some wards, found his way around some vision. And Clutch have consistently been good at keeping the enemy in the dark.
And that's really the thing, right? Like, a lot of this game is coming off the back end of Closer, someone who's been attacked the entire time, but it's not a Kled ulti, it's an Elise finding avenues into the fight. Pilot.
Vulcan's going to land the hook here, but Closer caught out with the Cataclysm, immediately goes up into the repel. CG are going to react very quickly to this one already. They've taken down the jungler. Clutch Gaming finding their markers. Closer came in for the flank, and RYL unable to react in time.
Topside control, still the name of the game. Seal did not see them walk around here. If he goes back towards topside, could be a disaster, but
Clutch
in the Baron pit. Not right now. They're pushing in their wave, so they certainly could in just a moment, but have gold, have resets to go through, items to buy, Morellos to complete.
Pilot just checks it with the True Shot Barrage. So they know it's not happening, but it's only 22 minutes in the game. Clutch, on average, I think, take their first Baron about the 26-minute mark or so, if I remember correctly from my notes. So they've got a little bit of time before they need to take it.
And we'll see how this one starts off. The ward is really the MVP. Demonte has the flank, but Vulcan off-screen right actually lands a hook, but everybody commits onto the Elise. Flashless, nowhere to go. Huni may have found Armored on the bottom side, though. Vulcan in the area.
Armored's going to try and trade back onto this one, trying to build up those Frosty stacks, but just not there in time. Vulcan gets the kill, not with the ult, which is a little bit of a shame for him, but eventually Armored does go down.
Doesn't get to split the gold with everyone, but Clutch have just had more friends this game. In every single play, everybody rotating over. They do have, of course, like vision control makes it a little bit easier to rotate towards the side lanes. They have that mid priority. This is another ambitious pick coming over. EQ used.
Closer not able to land the cocoon there. Blue buff will go across to Demonte. He takes that 5-2-2 now. It's gone for the GLP, but not the Twin Shadow, so there's no Super Soaker spooky ghosts, just going for the Zhonyas.
Yeah. Also doesn't finish his Morellos, sitting on the Oblivion Orb.
There's not really too much healing on the side of RYL, so you don't really need to go for it.
Just got a Cutlass. That's sick.
Is it?
Yeah.
Why is that sick?
It's healing.
That is, that's true.
That's sick.
That's true.
This cheeky ward, 2 games in a row, hasn't been cleared out.
You're not the best at highlighting. Yeah, here we go. Here we go.
Camera's moving. I've got to keep moving the circle.
You have to predict. You have to predict where the camera's going.
Oh god, it's intentional. It has to be intentional.
They might be trolling you a tad.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say they definitely are, but our observers have been known to do that. Equalizer used in the mid lane as Clutch looked for this fight. Tolerant caught out, hook back, he's done. Clutch Gaming, they do this. They did this last game. They've done it again here. They find the pick. Now they'll move in, get vision control, and then can look towards that Baron. But as you say, that cheeky ward might stop them in their tracks or might allow Royal to go for the fight. Closer, caught out. Repels up, Seal on his way in, but the TP's already used, and Closer's gonna have to flash away. Look at the damage coming out from Clutch. They find the CC chain that they needed, and that should be all she wrote for the Baron.
And exactly what happened last game. Same area, they find 2 picks immediately onto the Baron. The ward doesn't really matter if the jungler is dead. TP can be here from Armut on the Renekton if the contest is gonna be here.
Yeah, TP's coming in. This is a little bit late in my opinion. Demonte gonna act as a bouncer. Here comes Armut onto the backline. Has the dominance. Can go in. Demonte down to half HP already. Vulcan trying to do what he can. Pop Blossom comes out. Baron goes down. And that's already Demonte falling. And here comes the rest of the fight. Seal jumping in. Takes 1. Looking for more. He has to get out of the back of the fight. And now Tolerant stepping forward with Pilot. It's all on this Ezreal. The play comes out. But the Cataclysm follows him. Pilot goes down. Cody takes the triple. And Tolerant goes gold and flashes away. But Cody is on the chase. Tolerant will not escape today. A quadra kill for the Clutch AD carry.
And just as we say, a team fight hits 7-0-2 on the Kai'Sa. Cody's son is massive. They walk away with Baron. They walk away with everything. And an 8,000 gold lead at the end of the day.
And we'll have another look at this fight. It was a 3v5 to kick us off.
Yeah, ambitious contest, kind of backs against the wall, not a lot of options, so has to be the play, and did look pretty close. Flash from Pilot means that he doesn't get stunned, cleans up Demonte with his mid laner. And I was mentioning, this is the 1-2 punch of Pilot and Seal in the team fight to make it close, but
Cody's son does such a good job of surviving at the back of this fight. And I mean, this is all cleanup, right? This is fine, but him dodging away from Seal as he gets in, using the killer instinct for the extra shield, played it very, very well.
Buffers the W through the hook, QSSs anyway for style points, and easy.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
Yeah, Tolerant's dead again. This is a few times we have seen him being caught out in situations like that. Maybe just overstepping. Clutch will find their man. And at 26 minutes in, it's a 10,000 gold lead now for the North American 3rd seed. It should be another game in their pocket. Convincing fashion, they've won these games. And Cocoon's going to land there onto Huni as Vulcan dodged in front of him. And Huni will fall. That's not the best. Was backing in an area where Royal really did have vision.
So, does fall down. Doesn't have the Zhonya's, of course, either. What turret is a contest? That's a hook lands.
EQ doesn't connect, though. There's the death from below as Pilot will fall. Vulcan takes the kill. Vanguard's edge used by Seal. He's still stunned up with the Pop Blossom, and he tries to jump onto the back of the fight, but Cody's son is legendary. This might just be the end of the game. Huni 25 seconds away. 2 cannon minions coming in here for Clutch, and Royal really can't do too much about it. Cody's son just opens up on the turrets. Armut flashes in, but another QSS from Cody's son. Armut goes golden, but the stopwatch won't stop time for long. Clutch get another kill, 20 kills to 9. This has been a dominant performance from the North American 3rd seed, and with these cannons to just
They've got no creeps.
They're coming, EGEM. The TP comes in, Huni's going to join the party. Still 5 seconds left on Pilot, and here come the minions. Clutch Gaming will take the second Nexus tower, and all that remains is the Nexus. Cody's son jumps forward, 10-0-4, and now it's 2-0 for Clutch.
And like clockwork, back-to-back games, just the same trajectory. Topside skirmishes, early game advantage. Game number 2 punishing the jungle.